So I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you're driving a car at night, and it is just pouring rain.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
Right. The streetlights are completely out, your windshield wipers are barely doing anything, and you can barely see maybe a few feet in front of your bumper.
Okay, definitely a high-stress situation.
Exactly. Now, in that scenario, would you suddenly just press your foot down hard on the gas pedal, just to prove to the passengers in your car that you're a really fast, confident driver?
No, definitely not. I mean, driving fast isn't impressive at all if you can't even see the road.
Exactly. If you speed up when you're basically blind, you're going to crash.
Yeah.
I mean, in that situation, safety, caution, and visibility are what actually make you a good driver.
Yeah, that's a really perfect analogy. The speed of the car just doesn't matter if you have no idea where it's going.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because, you'd never speed in the dark, yet every single day, people who are communicating in a second language do the exact same thing on phone calls.
They really do. They panic.
Right. They panic, they speed up their speech to sound like more fluent, and they end up completely crashing the conversation.
Yeah.
So today's deep dive is based on a really fantastic set of specialized notes, and they're designed specifically for B1 and B2 English learners.
And these are such practical notes, too.
They really are. And our mission today is very clear. We want to empower you, yes, you listening right now, with the exact toolkit you need to survive and, well, even thrive during English phone calls when you simply do not understand what the other person is saying.
And that is a vital skill set. I mean, phone calls are just notorious for causing anxiety, even for really advanced speakers.
Absolutely. And the central thesis of our source material today, it really flips the script entirely on how we should think about these conversations. The notes boldly state, and I quote, "On the phone, good English is not fast English. Good English is clear confirmation."
What's fascinating here is the underlying psychology of that and the immense cognitive load involved. It explains why we forget that simple rule so easily.
Oh, totally.
Think about what your brain is doing when you speak to someone face to face. You have this massive wealth of visual cues to rely on, right?
Right, you can see them.
Exactly. You read their body language, you watch their lip movements, which, surprisingly, actually helps your brain process the audio.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought about the lip movement part.
Yeah, it's huge. And you can instantly see their facial expressions change if they're confused, which gives you, real-time feedback.
Right, so you have all these street lights illuminating the conversation.
Precisely. But on a phone call, all of those visual streetlights are just completely stripped away. You are left alone in the dark with nothing but compressed, sometimes static-filled audio.
The worst.
Right. So your brain is suddenly working overtime. It has to decode the audio, translate the vocabulary, process the grammar, formulate a response, and then translate that response back.
All without any visual help at all.
Exactly, which completely explains the panic. The brain just gets overwhelmed. It basically overheats. And in that panic, there's this immense, entirely internal pressure to speak fast. Learners often feel that if they just talk quickly, they'll sound more fluent or, they'll mask their confusion.
Like they're just pressing the gas pedal in the dark.
Exactly. But shifting your goal from speed to clarity instantly reduces that phone anxiety. You no longer have to perform for the other person. You just have to confirm facts with them.
So how do we actually execute that shift? Because, well, before you can confirm any details, you have to actually hear the words in the first place.
Right.
Let's look at how to handle completely missing the information. Our source gives us two really essential tools for asking for repetition. The first is a classic phrase. It's just, "Sorry, could you repeat that?"
Yes, the classic. And the explanation for this phrase is very straightforward. You basically deploy this whenever you simply didn't hear or didn't understand something the other person said.
Okay.
A great example sentence provided in our notes to contextualize this is, "Sorry, could you repeat that? The line is not very clear."
Oh, I like blaming the line. And if we were actually on a call, it flows so naturally. Like if I'm a receptionist and I quickly mumble, "Your appointment is at 3:15, how would you jump in?"
I wouldn't hesitate at all. I'd just calmly say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?"
Okay, now I have to push back a little here.
Sure.
Doesn't saying that immediately broadcast to the other person that your English isn't good enough?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people listening might feel embarrassed or even dumb using that phrase.
Oh, that is a massive misconception. And it's something the source material actively addresses in its usage notes, actually.
Really?
Yeah. This phrase is both incredibly polite and completely natural in everyday phone calls. It is crucial to understand that native speakers say this to each other literally all the time.
That's a good point.
Cell phone connections drop, people mumble, sirens go off in the background. Asking for repetition is not a sign of broken English. It's a sign of an active, engaged listener who is taking the conversation seriously enough to get the facts right.
I love that reframe. It's not a failure, it's just active listening.
Exactly.
Now, the second tool we have for asking for repetition is slightly more idiomatic. The phrase is, I did not catch that.
Yeah, that's a great one. The literal meaning here is simply, I did not understand what you said. Let's look at the example sentence they provide to flesh this out. They use, I did not catch the last part.
Let's hear it in a quick, natural exchange. If I rush through giving you directions and I just say, please come to the second entrance, you just say,
I'm sorry, I did not catch that.
What's really interesting about how this phrase is used is the verb itself. The notes highlight that the word catch in this context specifically means to hear and to cognitively process the meaning.
Yes. It's a highly visual verb to use for an auditory experience, really. If we connect this to the bigger picture of how the brain works, auditory processing isn't instantaneous.
It really isn't. I like to think of it like playing baseball.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So someone throws a baseball at you, and you have your glove ready. But sometimes, the ball just slips right past your glove. Hearing words on a phone call is exactly like catching a baseball.
Yeah.
Sometimes the words are thrown perfectly, but your glove just doesn't close in time. You didn't catch it. Using this phrase doesn't mean you don't know how to play the game. It just means you need the pitcher to throw that specific ball one more time.
That is a brilliant way to visualize it. It completely removes the feeling of personal failure. It was just a miscatch. The pitch was just too fast.
Exactly. Which brings us perfectly to our next major challenge, which is slowing the conversation down.
Yes, very important.
Because sometimes you do hear the words. You catch them in the glove, but the pitcher's throwing them at 100 miles per hour. One word crashes into the next, and while you know the vocabulary, your brain just can't process the meaning fast enough.
Oh, that is a universally common experience for language learners. The vocabulary is known, but the processing time is just missing. So, how do you gracefully pump the brakes on that high-speed train without making things awkward? Our source provides a highly effective phrase for exactly this situation, and it is, could you speak a little more slowly?
The meaning is right there in the words.
Yeah.
You pull this out when the other person is simply speaking too fast for you to process. A practical example sentence is just adding a polite marker at the end like, could you speak a little more slowly, please?
Right. Let's see how that diffuses a rushed moment. If I'm a fast-talking customer service rep and I say, I can give you the details now, how do you slow me down?
I'd just say, sure, but could you speak a little more slowly?
Perfect. The key to using this effectively, and this is a highly critical nuance highlighted in the source, is the addition of the words little.
Yes, those two words are doing so much heavy lifting.
They really are. Adding the phrase a little makes the request much softer and far more polite. If you just say, speak slowly, it comes across as an aggressive command.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like you are criticizing the other person for talking too fast, which can instantly put them on the defensive.
Right. Nobody likes being told what to do. If someone tells me, speak slowly, my immediate internal reaction is, don't tell me how to talk. It feels very confrontational.
Exactly. But when you ask, could you speak a little more slowly, you are leaning into the psychology of face-sitting. You are softening the request.
That makes a lot of sense.
You are successfully managing the pace of the interaction without making the other person feel attacked. It's a very high-level social skill, but it's delivered through very accessible, basic vocabulary.
That makes so much sense. It maintains positive rapport while still getting you exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Now, the next tool we have for slowing things down is probably my favorite strategy in the entire deep dive. The phrase is, let me write that down.
Oh, that is a fantastic one. The core explanation of this phrase is that you use it when you need time to physically write important information. The expanded example sentence from our notes is, let me write that down before you continue.
And it works so well in practice. If I tell you the reference number is ready, and you aren't prepared to process a 12-digit string of numbers, what's your move?
One moment, please. Let me write that down.
What I absolutely love about how this phrase is used is the psychological trick it plays on both you and the speaker. The notes point out that using this phrase makes you sound incredibly organized and calm.
It really does. It transforms a moment of internal chaos into a projection of authority.
Yes. Because inside your head, you might be totally overwhelmed. You might be panicking, thinking, oh no, a massive reference number. I don't have a pen. I'm not ready for this. My English is failing.
We've all been there.
But by simply stating, let me write that down, you completely hide that panic. Instead of sounding confused or slow, you instantly sound like a meticulous professional who is taking the call very seriously. You take total control of the conversation's rhythm and you buy your brain 5 or 10 precious seconds to catch up.
It's an excellent piece of advice. You aren't asking for a favor, you're stating a process. It shifts the dynamic entirely.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's say we've navigated the first 2 hurdles. We've asked for repetition when we completely missed the words.
Right.
And we've successfully slowed the pace down so we can process the rapid-fire information.
Yeah.
Now, we enter the most crucial phase, which is confirming the details. We have to lock in the facts to make sure absolutely nothing was lost in translation.
Crucial step.
But I have to ask you a serious question about this.
Go ahead.
Doesn't repeating things back to the person make you sound a bit like a parrot? Or worse, doesn't it make you sound like you weren't paying attention to them in the first place? Like if I tell you my birthday's on the 12th and you say, so that's the 12th, doesn't that get kind of annoying?
I completely understand why it feels that way, but the reality in professional communication is the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Repeating crucial details back to the speaker proves that you are paying attention. It is the ultimate demonstration of active listening.
Okay, that's interesting.
Think about the stakes. In English, the numbers 13 and 30 sound incredibly similar over a fuzzy phone line. Same with 15 and 50.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true. Shipping 15 boxes is very different from shipping 50 boxes.
Precisely. A misheard number can cost a business thousands of dollars. Therefore, confirming facts is considered a hallmark of professional communication across the globe. No competent business person will ever be angry with you for ensuring the details of a contract or an appointment are 100% accurate.
That is incredibly reassuring. So it's not a flaw, it's a feature of good business.
Exactly.
Let's look at the tools we have for this then. The next phrase is, so that is tomorrow morning, correct?
Yes. The functional explanation here is that you use the structure to check that you understood a specific fact correctly. The example sentence extends the detail slightly. It's, so that is tomorrow morning at 9, correct?
Let's see how seamless this is in action. If I'm an office manager and I say, we can call you tomorrow morning, you verify it by saying, say neat.
So that is tomorrow morning, correct?
The insight on how to use this phrase is all about its structure. The notes point out that ending the sentence with the word correct is clear and highly professional.
Yes, because it creates what we call a closed question. It doesn't invite a long, rambling explanation. It requires a simple yes or no from the other person.
Well, that's smart.
If they say yes, you move forward. If they say no, they will immediately provide the correction. It leaves absolutely zero room for ambiguity.
The next phrase works similarly, acting as an anchor for the facts. The phrase is, just to confirm.
You use this phrase right before you repeat critical information back to the speaker. The example sentence is, just to confirm, the appointment is on Friday.
And in a natural exchange, if I tell you, we will see you on Friday, you simply reply,
just to confirm, Friday at 2 o'clock.
What's essential about how this phrase is used is its broad utility. The source emphasizes that just to confirm is a vital tool, whether you're in a corporate business meeting, setting up personal medical appointments, or just handling everyday customer service issues.
It acts as the ultimate framing device. It politely announces to the other person, I am now going to repeat what you said. Please stop what you were doing and listen carefully to see if I have it right. It actively sets an expectation of mutual accuracy.
I really love how all of these phrases put you firmly in the driver's seat of the conversation. You're no longer just passively hoping you understand, you are actively steering the call.
That's a great way to put it.
But, eventually, the drive has to end, the facts are confirmed, the pace was perfect. But how do we hang up without that awkward, lingering silence?
Oh, yes.
You know exactly the silence I mean, where neither person knows who should say goodbye first, and you just sort of stumble over your words.
Telephone goodbyes can certainly be a delicate dance because you can't see the person reaching for the door to leave. Our source provides a fantastic phrase to initiate a clear ending, though. It's, is there anything else I need to know?
The explanation for this is to ask if there is any final important information before you disconnect the line. The example sentence they give is there anything else I need to know before I arrive?
And it creates such a smooth transition.
It really does. If I'm giving you final instructions and I say, please bring your ID, how do you use this?
I'd respond, thank you. Is there anything else I need to know?
The real power in how this phrase is used is that it acts as a great final question before ending a call.
Yeah, if we think about the psychology of the phone call again, this question serves as a safety net. It transfers the responsibility back to the caller for one brief moment, ensuring that absolutely no vital details were forgotten by either party before the connection is permanently broken.
It's the perfect bridge to the actual goodbye, which brings us to our final phrase, thanks for your help.
Right. You use this simply to close the call politely and definitively. The example sentence is, thanks for your help, have a good day.
Let's hear the final sign-off. If I tell you you are all set, you close it out with ek.
Great, thanks for your help.
The guiding principle for how to use this phrase is a rule to live by, really. Simple endings are always the best endings on the phone. Keep it brief and keep it polite. You don't need a long, complicated farewell. You don't need to overthink the grammar of your goodbye. Just express genuine gratitude and end the call.
This raises an important question, though. We've thoroughly analyzed the psychology and the utility of these phrases, but, knowing them conceptually is very different from deploying them under pressure. How well can you, the listener, apply these phrases right now?
Well, it's time to find out. Our source material includes a dedicated practice element, and we're going to put this into a rapid-fire, real-world stress test.
Sounds fun.
I'm going to throw a common, highly stressful phone problem at you. We'll take a tiny conversational beat, just a moment for everyone listening to think of their move, and then I want you to hit me with the best phrase from our toolkit to diffuse the tension.
All right. Remember, everyone, we are prioritizing clarity over speed. Try to lock in the target phrase in your mind. I'm ready.
Let's do this. Problem number 1. The person mumbles, and you completely miss the time of the meeting. What do you say?
Think about it for a second. Okay, the best phrase is, sorry, could you repeat that?
Spot on. Okay, problem number 2. The speaker is giving you directions, but they are talking way too fast for you to process. What's your move?
Get your answer ready. The right phrase is, could you speak a little more slowly?
Exactly. Soften it with a little. Problem number 3. They suddenly start rattling off a massive tracking number and you aren't prepared. How do you handle it?
Do you have it? You should say, one moment, please. Let me write that down.
Perfect. By yourself that time. Problem number 4. You want to verify the date of a flight they just booked for you.
Okay, what's the phrase? It's just to confirm, that is Friday, correct?
Leaving zero ambiguity. And finally, problem number 5. You have all the information and you're ready to politely end the call.
Lock in your final answer. It is, thanks for your help. Have a good day.
Awesome. How did you do out there? If you couldn't pull the phrases up instantly, don't worry at all. That's exactly why we are reviewing this material. So what does this all mean? Let's bring all of these tools together in our final recap. We are going to clearly repeat the core phrases one last time so they really stick in your mind.
Could you repeat that?
I did not catch that.
Could you speak a little more slowly?
Let me write that down.
Just to confirm.
Is there anything else I need to know?
Thanks for your help.
Having this specific toolkit ready completely changes the power dynamic of a difficult phone call. You aren't a victim of the other person's pace anymore.
And that brings us to the final, most crucial message directly from our source material. You must practice these phrases out loud, slowly.
Yes, out loud.
Because phone English relies heavily on two things: confidence and clarity. Knowing the words conceptually is only half the battle. Your physical mouth needs to feel comfortable forming these sentences at a deliberate, unhurried pace.
It's all about muscle memory. If you practice them slowly out loud today, they will be there for you when the panic tries to set in tomorrow. Which leaves me with a final thought for you to ponder.
Okay.
We spend so much time worrying about our language skills when we're speaking a second language like English. We have to actively push ourselves to prioritize clarity over speed, to actively confirm details, and to ensure mutual understanding.
It's a very highly intentional, very mindful way of communicating.
Exactly. So my question to you is this. If you start using these tools on your English calls, actively slowing the pace, asking for repetition without shame, and confirming facts, how might that mindset shift completely change the way you communicate in your native language too?
Wow, that's a great point.
Are we sometimes driving too fast in the dark, assuming the other person understands us, even when we are speaking the language we were born with? Because remember, a good driver knows that speed never matters if you can't clearly see where you're going.